Today I'm going to show you how to make a half drawing self-portrait. And in order to do that, you need your photograph that was taken of you, of your face mainly, and then you need your paper that you're going to create your half drawing self-portrait on. I wrote my name in the corner of my paper. You could write it on the back or the front. And next what you do is you cut your drawing in half. Keep in mind, you want to cut between your eyes, in the middle of your nose, and in the middle of your mouth, because I do expect to see you practice drawing your facial features. So you need to cut it in the middle. You can either draw a line lightly, but please don't erase, because if you erase, it's going to erase the ink off of the printed picture, and we don't want that. So if you draw a light line, you can draw that. Think about the lines that you want to create. It could be zigzag. It could be curvy. Or you could choose just to cut straight down. I'm going to add a little bit of curve to mine as I'm cutting it. So I'm going to start down here. If you are, well, let's just go for it. I think I'm just going to cut it instead of drawing my line. So I'm going to cut through smoothly, opening my scissors really wide, and then closing it and turning my paper. I'm going to add this curve since my face is tilted. And then I'm going to curve around and back over. So that is how I chose to cut my face. It is up to you how you want to cut yours. The next thing is gluing half of your face down, because you're only drawing half. So in order to glue it half down, you have to choose which side you want to draw. Since I'm right-handed, it's a little bit easier, I think a little bit more simple to draw the right side, because as I'm drawing, I can see what my left side looks like. So if you're right-handed, I would suggest drawing the right side. If you're left-handed, you can draw the left side. So I need to glue down the left side. When you glue it down, make sure you have scrap paper, so you can use your paper in your sketchbook or just regular scrap. And then make sure you really get enough glue on the edge that is your face. You don't need to add much glue in the middle. You really want to get the edges. So I'm going to make a border around, Really get that edge where you cut your face, your special line, get that really nicely. And then you can make an X in the center just to add a little extra glue. But that's all you need. Get the corners. The key with the gluing it down is to center it with the other half of your face. So I'm going to place this where I want it, flip this over, and I'm going to place this down as best as I can and center it as best as I can so I have even space on both sides. As I press it down, I'm going to use my scrap paper. Hopefully there's not too much glue on, and I'm going to rub it so that it smooths out all the air bubbles and all the wrinkles. If you need to add a little bit more glue, you can. So that is my face that's glued down. It's a little crooked, so make sure you're really careful about that. Really get that edge glued down where your face is, and you can always add a little bit more glue if you need to down here. You need to add a little bit more. So now I have my picture glued down, and my goal is to draw the other half of my face. There are a few techniques that we're going to be practicing. One is the connect the dot method. I really like this method because it will ensure that your features are placed in the right position. So instead of just thinking, okay, I think my eye's here, and drawing it out, you'll actually have evidence to go off of. How you do the connect the dot method is what I call it, is you match up your drawing. I'm going to turn my paper because I think it does work better to turn your paper away from you so you can easily slide your image out. So if I turn my paper and match up my face, having a hard time matching it up. Let's say I'm going to do the eye. The corner of my eye comes about here. Line up your pencil and hold your pencil just above your paper so it's not pressing down on it, just above. If you slide your paper out, you can make a dot. I'm going to draw a little bit darker so that you can see. Otherwise, it's hard for you to see, but you should be drawing lightly. Match it up again. Here's the top of my eye. I'm going to follow that lash line. You can make dashes or lines. Sometimes you can make a bigger curve. If I show this curve here and trace over and over it, I can get that drawn on my paper. Remember to draw lightly. Here's my next line right above the white of my eye. So it comes down like that. Match it up. Here's the corner of my eye, not my eyelid, but the corner of the white of my eye. Right there. Match it up. I match it up either with the corner, the edge of the picture, or a feature that's very crisp, like your hairline or your teeth. The bottom of my eye starts here. Oh, I made that a little long. And down here. It's a little bit hard to see with the pixelation on the picture, but here's that bottom part of my eye right here. So now I can draw my whole eye just like that. That is how it looks. I'm going to go back and I'm going to draw the iris, which is the colored part, right here. And the other side of the iris, which is right here. And it is a circle, so we want those curves. I have a little bit of a highlight on the top of my eye, so I should mark that to make sure I don't draw it too dark. And then my pupil is a little bit hard to see, but it is there, and that's in the middle of my eye. I am also going to draw my eyelid just because my eye looks goofy without it. So keep in mind, hold your pencil above very steady. With your other hand, move the paper and then mark down. You can gently press it against the paper, but you don't want to press too firmly because then you won't be able to move the paper. Draw as many dots as you need or as few dots as you need to get the curves of whatever you are drawing. So here's my eyelid. You'll notice it looks a little strange because it's not shaded in and my eyelid is very dark. So there's my eyelid. You might want to start out with the outline of your face and your chin. It's a good place to start. It's a very crisp line. Your hairline, your cheek, hairline, shoulder, nose, and just draw that bottom part of your nose. You really don't have a line on the bridge of your nose. So you could do that. And you can draw however many lines you need. So if I kind of make this up and finish it off, that works too. And that's where the other method, illustration technique, is going to come in handy. So if I look back at my drawing, I can compare. It's a little bit hard to see that shadow underneath or the detail under my eye. But if I look at my drawing compared to my photograph, you can only tell so much. Let's say I want to finish off my cheek. And I'm just going to draw what I think I see. This is where the next technique comes in handy. It is called the Flipbook Method. It might be a little hard for you to see, but if I flip back and forth, between the eye, the photograph, and my drawing, can you see differences between those two things? When you flip back and forth really fast, you might see minor shifts or changes. Let's try it with the cheek. I think I'm going to try this way. If I flip back and forth, see what you notice is different. Oops. Do you see how the cheek shifts out from here and it gets wider? If I use my connect the dot method, I will probably find out that it was too wide when I drew it. So let's see here. Here's this mark. That was okay. Let's see this mark. This was where it got too wide. So if you do draw something and you don't think it lines up, it probably doesn't. And that's where you can check your lines to make sure they line up. So I need to adjust this. You will need to be fixing things as you go. So I should have used the connect the dot method from the start because I have to redraw it anyway. So you might as well use the techniques to make sure you draw accurately. Look at that, my cheekbone comes out a little bit. So you'll notice all those curves and proportions of your face as you're drawing. Keep that in mind. We want to draw those accurately. So that is where my cheek needs to be instead of where I had it. These techniques are going to help you draw your contour lines for your face. We're not going to worry about shading until we have our basic facial features mapped out.